I said, we're going to do some breath work as we're going to go into begin this love discussion. So I want you to please, if you want to be seated, that's fine. If you want to lie down, that's also fine. Or if you want to be on the floor, you're welcome to do that. But I'm seated here on a chair. My arms are rested on my laps, palms are facing up, and I'm just going to go ahead and downshift my gaze. If I'm not comfortable with completely closing it, that's okay. If you want to just move your eyelids and let them glide to a soft gaze at really nothing. We're not really trying to focus on anything, which is the focus is now on taking the medium of breath as a way to turn our attention from the world out there to the world in here. Okay, if there's even a difference, there is really no out there and in here. But for the purposes of reining in our sense organs, we're going to use breath. So I want you to take a nice deep diaphragmic breath. So what I mean by that is I want to see your belly rising and collapsing, not your chest. So if you were to put a palm on each of your thoracic region and your abdominal region, I want to see your abdomen rising and falling and the thoracic region, your chest, pretty much steady. And when you breathe nice and deep like this, it automatically invokes your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your calming response. Versus if you're breathing into your chest, shallow breathing, that will actually activate your sympathetic nervous system, which is your stress response. And for the purposes of oxygenating the blood, making the blood deeply rich in the much needed vital force, the source of energy in every cell of our body depends on, which is oxygen. We're going to breathe nice and deep into the belly. Just like when you see a baby sleeping very peacefully, you'll see the rise and collapse of the abdomen. So for a count of 5, take in deep inhalations through the nostril. And for 5, exhale through the mouth or through the nostril, whatever you find comfortable. I find it comfortable to release the air from my mouth. And when I exhale from my mouth, I find myself relaxing quite a bit without really needing to do anything special, just the regular breath of life. Even breathing for 5 in and 5 out. Now see if you can elongate your breath and see if you can double the duration of your exhale. It's a deeply relaxing process as you extend the exhale, empty out the lungs. So in for 5 and out for 10. The focus is really here on the exhalation. And notice that you don't even need to make an effort to inhale. Once you exhale, emptying out your lungs completely and just let it be, the body knows how to take in the air. This is a philosophy of life and everything else in the universe. When you know how to let go, the universe will give you what you need. See if you can use the exhalation to create the sound of the ocean. And as you elongate your breath, you're further deepening your relaxation. You're really beginning to feel the oxygen reach your brain, which makes you very peaceful, very calm. Now notice if you can pause the breath in between the inhale and the exhale. So let's do a breath of inhale for 5, hold for 7, exhale for 10, and hold for 7 again. So this is called box breathing, where there are 4 parts to your breath work. Exhale. And hold. Inhale for 5. Hold for 7. Exhale for 10. Hold for 7. And inhale for 5. Now in this next breathwork exercise, which is going to be the last of our pranayama set, I want you to please use 3 fingers. As I'm showing you here, I'm going to ask you to please go ahead and use your thumb to close your ears, the eardrum, with both my fingers, or if you have your headphones on, just go ahead and put them right in front of your eardrum. And with the 2 fingers, which is the middle and the ring finger, I want you to please close your eyes, keeping a complete seal on your eyes and on your ears. And then we take a deep breath into the diaphragm, into the belly. And as I'm exhaling, I let go of it with my mouth closed with a hum, which looks like this. Okay? This is called the buzzing bee for a reason. Brahmari, or the buzzing bee, is because we make the noise of a buzz, and notice that the oxygen starts filling your brain. You start feeling like a massage. Okay, so we're going to do 3 rounds. I want you to inhale for 5, and when you exhale, it could be 10 or longer, for a count of 10 or longer. Okay, let's together. Inhale, close shut, exhale with a hum. Second round. And third and final round. And when you're done, just rest your arms again, back straight, neck held high, shoulders dropped, jaw relaxed. Just feeling into how this breath work has changed you just in these 15 minutes. Notice how you feel. This last Brahmari exercise is a particularly useful exercise, which is like a massage for the sinus cavities. It's like a massage for all of the organs inside your head. It's like a cleansing that happens. Just allowing this breath of nice deep breathing to continue. Diaphragmic breathing is just the best way for you to completely relax your body. And we will move on to the next phase of this exercise, today's session. From breathwork, we're going to go into storytelling and then into some discussion, followed by meditation, and then we'll open it up for discussion, Q&A. All right, so a story in the context of what we're here to talk about, and we are here to talk about the subject of what does love mean to you. So a long time ago, there was a kingdom, and in that kingdom once there was a traveling play, a theater play that came into town. Everybody was excited. It was a very famous play, very successful play. And when the king and the queen of that land, of that kingdom, welcomed the troupe that came into town, unfortunately, the night before the play, one of the main characters, which is a 5-year-old girl, she collapses and she passes away. Now, everybody's in turmoil. Everybody's completely distraught, wondering what we're going to do. The play is going to happen tomorrow. And they're also grief-stricken because of this very important character who has passed away, a very integral part of the whole setup. And so as the queen is pondering upon this dilemma that has just now struck this theater group that has come into town, she says, oh my God, my child, my son is 5 years old, about the same height and same dimensions as this person who passed away. What if we teach the son the lines for the play, which is a very simple role. It's not too complicated. There's not too many spoken words, just some acting. And so we teach the son to fill in that role, and let's see how it goes. And so she discusses it with the theater company, and the theater company says, okay, we don't have any other choice, so let's roll with this idea. And so the little boys taught the lines, the little boys taught the role. The next day, the play happens, the boy plays his part, the whole play goes as per plan, and it is a roaring success. The queen is very delighted. Now she wants to commemorate this moment, and what she does is she calls the finest painter in the land to come and create a painting, a portrait of this little boy in the costume of the little girl, and to immemorialize us, to immortalize it, and she goes ahead and gets the painting done. The painting is done and it's hung up in the king's palace, and the boy grows on to grow up to be a man and becomes the prince, then the queen passes away, and ultimately the boy becomes the crowned prince and he takes on the reins of the kingdom. And one day, many years later, this king now is walking around his palace, and he strolls into a cellar that he has never been to before. And he's very curious. He says, this is one part of the palace that I know every nook and corner of all parts of my palace, but this is a room that I've never been to. And he goes in there, turns on, ignites a lamp, looks around, and he notices there is this beautiful painting on a wall. He brings the lamp close to that wall, looks at the painting, and he is blown away by the picture of this little girl. He instantly falls in love with this little girl. He looks at the date. There's a little date where the signature is of the painter, and he notices, he calculates and says, oh my God, this is from some years ago. At that time, I must have been approximately the same age as this girl. Therefore, today this girl must have grown up and she must be a fine young woman. And I need to go find her. He is enamored. He is deeply in love. And he goes around the kingdom, every nook and corner, and looks and searches for this woman. But he cannot find her. He returns back to his kingdom, returns back to his palace, and he is very sad. And one day, the old wise minister notices that something is askew, something is off with the king. And he goes on and says, what is it? He says, I can't tell you. He says, well, no, you got to tell me. And, he pesters him for a few days. Then he says, okay, let me tell you today what it is. And he says, come with me. And he takes the old minister down to that cellar, turns on the lamp, and shows the picture of this girl. And he says, I'm in love with her. To that, the minister is startled and says, but this is a little girl. He says, no, look at that corner. There is a date inscribed. Look at the date. And when this painting was made, I must have been about the same age as the little girl. So today she must be as old as me. But I cannot find her, and it makes me very sad. And the minister thinks, and he has this flash of memory. And he starts laughing and he says, this is you. He says, what do you mean this is you? He says, yes, this was you. And he goes on to tell the story of that traveling tour, the traveling troupe that came into town. And he talks about that little girl who had befallen the unfortunate fate of having passed away the night before the play. And that his mother, the queen, got this epiphany that, the little boy that could be, you could fill in the role and dressed you up like a little girl. You played that part, and this is a picture of you. And that instant, all that infatuation, all that yearning, that love that this king had felt for that woman, that little girl in the picture, completely dissipates. It's gone. No more love. Complete transformation. Folks, so that makes me wonder, that makes me want to ask you this question. What does love mean to you? So many times when we don't think about what it is, we oftentimes sold this idea because we watch a lot of movies, this Hollywood definition of love, this infatuation, this wanting of this other person, finding your soulmate. I feel sad because I feel incomplete. I'm looking for my better half. Look at all this terminology and ask yourself, what does love truly mean to you? So I want you to please start typing in your responses. What does love mean to you, and what do you think it's not? And while you're typing in what it is not, or what it is, I'm going to share with you a few thoughts I've had on the subject. First of all, love is not a dependency. So many times we say that, I need you, I love you, I cannot live without you, right? Oh, darling, how can I be complete? How can I be alive? How can I be fulfilled without your company, without your presence, without you in my life? And what you're really saying, or what that one is truly saying, is that I am infatuated. I am in attachment. I am wanting to make you feel like you complete me. And so that dependency, as we've seen in the story, is completely a figment of my own mind. It's a figment of my attachment to something that is not necessarily true. And the moment I have this moment of wisdom, epiphany, when I realize, when I open my eyes to it, somehow magically that dependence goes away. And that desire that I had for this person is something that I feel is baseless. It's not true. And so what is truth? Perhaps that at the core of my being, I am complete. At the core of my being, I am full, and I'm here to give, for it to flow, for not to acquire, to take and to hold. And love, the second thing, I've realized that love is not attachment. For example, I say that I love my car, I love my home, I love my football team. What you're saying is essentially that I'm attached to my football team, I'm attached to my house, I'm attached to my car. And what attachment does is identification of something that is not you. When that becomes a part of your reality, when that becomes a part of your identity, it gives room for the fear to be born. So when I'm attached to something which is not truly mine, when I have falsely identified myself to make something that is not an integral part of me to be me, there's a sense of it possibly could be lost. It possibly can go away. It possibly can decay. It can possibly die. And any sense of separation of that which I have identified as part of me, obviously, is going to make you fearful. Hence, you will do everything within your control. Use all of your resources and power to try and control that thing that you identified with, and hope that it does not get lost. Hope that it does not go away. Hope that it does not decay. And the next thing is love is mistaken for identification. When you talk about, I love my country, I love my nation, what you're really saying is that I'm identifying with that nationality to be an integral part of who I am. I'm identifying with that thing, that entity that I was born in, I was raised in, I was nurtured in, to define me. And as soon as you define yourself with something that's not really you, the birth of ego occurs. And when ego occurs, when ego arises, you're giving room for suffering. Because anything that happens, anybody says anything, anybody does anything, if there's any highs and lows, everything on the outside, as we know, it goes through the process of entropy. Entropy and negantropy, that's just the nature of life. The highs and lows, the ebb and the flow. Because now I'm trying to identify, connect myself with that external, that thing, that entity, whatever it is, whether it's a nation, a state, a university, whatever it is that you're trying to hitch your identity to, right upon it. There's a threat of that ebb and flow. And with that threat of ebb and flow comes a threat to my own identity, which is where my ego is tested and therefore suffering arises. So then what is the antidote? If it's not a dependency, if it's not an identity, if it's not attachment, and if it's not desire, what is love then? So I'm going to ask you to share with me, what do you think it is? I'm seeing lots of responses here. Colette says, this is a difficult question for me. I'm in the process of working to understand what love is. This is one reason I'm listening to this class. Yes, Colette. Okay, I appreciate that. Doris says it is unconditional. Okay, so what does it mean to be unconditional, Doris? Would you please go ahead and describe? Nita says, I feel love in the morning when I wake up. I'm very grateful. Fantastic. So think about it. What happens, Nita? So when you wake up in the morning, you are with yourself. You have, interestingly, based on the 4 things that I've just talked about, you have not yet identified, you have not yet attached, there's not yet the birth of desire, right? There's not yet a dependency, right? Hopefully you've rested well, it's been a good night of sleep. So you're feeling, having completely being with yourself. Interesting, right? So when you are with yourself and the mind is quiet, Nita, you have just shared that you feel that you are love. Interesting. So that means nothing from out there completes you. Very powerful realization. Beautiful. Let's see. V says, when you love yourself, are centered through practice, then you can love without the expectations. Fantastic. Very good. So what does that mean? So I love myself. That automatically helps me to expand, extend, to radiate that out towards another. And when I'm in the process of extending it out to another, there's no need for me to receive. There's no need for me to take. There's no need for me to be the desire to be fulfilled by something external to me. Amazing realization. So the question then, V, for you to describe, and maybe you already know this, but I want you to please spell it out. So where is my source of love? So if I indeed want to feel more loving, where does the focus need to be? Where does the effort, where do I need to be looking for it? And while you're saying that, let me go ahead and read a few more responses. This is fantastic, you guys. There's the expression that if you love and you let it go, and if it returns, it's yours, it is not being attached. Very true, right? So that means if you take that statement, that everything is worth being given love by releasing it from your clutches. And whether it returns or not is up to it. Sometimes even fate has certain implications on whether it's going to come back to you. Right? So then our job, okay, now we're getting seemingly to somewhere. Our job is to do only one thing, which is to share, to give, and let the love flow from our being. Okay? So Jeff says that I am love. Indeed, my brothers and sisters, at the core of my being, my innate value, my natural frequency is that I am love. And no extra drop of love from out there can complete me. So then going back to this question, so when you are feeling, for whatever reason, loveless, right? If you're feeling a little bit lost, if you're feeling the need for yourself to be loved, where does it need to come from? Where do you need to focus? Let's see. Not looking for it. Being love, Christine. Beautiful. Plugging into source energy to fill yourself up with love, Michelle. Beautiful. Then you can be love. Yes, indeed. So I feel like it's almost like, when you turn to source of love, when you turn to source of all energy, when you turn to supreme source, it's really what it's doing is that it's taking away all of the barriers that I have actually created around my identity and around my definitions of love. Wouldn't you agree? Right? So then really the effort seems to lie in removing the barriers and reminding myself of the love that I am. Beautiful. Yoko says, love also means acceptance. Accept them as they are. Indeed, Yoko. So what that means is that, when we talk about the word unconditional, is that I love because I am love. I love for love's sake itself, not because you are agreeing with me, or you look like me, or you behave like me, or you pray like me, or whatever other choice. No. Regardless of choices, regardless of the personality, regardless of the person's behavior, expression, etc., if I am love, then that's what I express. So where does it blossom from? I love your name. Blossoms from the heart. Blossom and heart. Yes, indeed. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about the physical heart? Or are we talking about the heart of spirit? The heart of our being? Okay. Now here's a very interesting thing to talk about since Blossom brought this up. The moment I seek dependency, desire to be fulfilled, attachment, and misidentification. Think about all of these things that I've talked about, what love is not. It is when we begin to attribute our identity, our sense of wholeness to anything that is physical. First of all, that sense of identifying with something physical comes from this feeling or this illusion that I am a physical being. I'm a thing that needs to get something to make me complete. And the moment you start with that misidentification, that misjudging of who you are to start with, that it is that thing that I see in the mirror, right? It's that name, that credentials, it's the degrees that hang on my wall, it's the title that appears on my LinkedIn profile, right? The car that I drive, the whole house that I live in, the neighborhood that I exist in. So the moment there is this identification with anything that is of form, that's when the ego, the doubts, the fear, and the anxiety will kick in. And my friends, that is a bottomless abyss. No amount of security, no amount of fortification, no amount of acquisition, no amount of consumption, no amount of monetary power is ever going to be able to fill that void. Because you know why? You are not a thing. So as we talk about this beautiful concept of the heart, let us sit with that for a moment and say, if I am a spiritual being having this human experience, then the heart that we're talking about is the heart of my being. And somebody mentioned here the heart chakra. Well, the heart chakra also is signified, it's a part of the physical body. If you looked at Patanjali's, the Ashtanga yoga, the eightfold path to yoga, the heart chakra is with the physical, there is an alignment with the physical body. But we're talking about the source of love. It is actually even devoid of the need for a physical body. So when somebody said, Jeff, I think mentioned it, I am love. So I, the being that has now embodied, taken this physical form, with me, as me, in me, of me, I have brought love. I am love. That's my natural expression. And the way that I see it, you can take it or leave it, is that I have come here into this physical costume to experience and express the love that I am. Period. That is my definition of life. Life meaning this role that we play, this costume that I wear, is for that beautiful, brilliant, unlimited, timeless being of love that I am. I've taken on this costume to play this role on this planet that we call, the stage that we call planet Earth. This role that I'm playing in this drama that we call life comes down to, at the bottom of it all, to express and experience the love that I am. Wonderful. So it is accepting what others give and not attaching expectations, Veena says. Beautiful. Giving and receiving are one and the same. Indeed, Robert, right? It's the thing. It's like, it's all of energy. It's really basically channeling. It's coming through. So if I'm able to give, I'm basically making my capacity, giving myself the opportunity, making space for me to receive, right? I always use the analogy that all energy is like river, like a river that flows, and you need to allow it to flow for the water to be clean. You need to allow it to flow for you to be able to receive. You need to allow it to give it flow because your natural nature is of that of going and touching people's lives and working your way towards the ocean. Beautiful, folks. So now let's shift gradually into the next phase of this journey, into this conversation, which is a guided meditation experience. So again, I invite you to either close your eyes or just downshift your gaze, allowing the air to become the focus of your attention as it goes in and out of this body. As you're taking in nice, deep, comfortable breaths, I want you to feel my words inside your being. I breathe in calmness and I breathe out stress. I breathe in peace and I breathe out any worry. I breathe in love and I breathe out any prejudice. I breathe in happiness and I breathe out sadness. My body, my heart, and my mind are beginning to overflow with these positive feelings. All forms of tension, anger, fear, and sorrow are dissolving away. At this moment in time, I feel tranquil and light. At this moment in time, I am content and I'm one with myself. All is well and all will be well. The Supreme Being is Supreme Love. Unconditional love. Always there, like the pole star, shining love. Breathe in this love. And as you breathe out, let your heart become soft with this love. Breathe in love until your entire being is soaked and there's no more prejudice. Breathe in love until you're completely consumed by the love of the divine. And at this time, as you breathe, you let that love spread out into the world, into the space around you. Breathe in the divine love. And as you breathe out, let it spread into your home. Breathe in the divine love. And as you breathe out, let it spread to your loved ones, your relatives, and your close friends. As you breathe in the divine love, and as you breathe out, Let that love spread to your co-workers or your classmates or the community you work within. Now, as you breathe in the divine love and breathe out, let this love spread into your neighborhood. Breathe in the divine love, and as you breathe out, let it spread into your entire city. Extending as you're breathing in this divine love, let it go out into your entire state. Breathe in this divine love and let it extend to encompass the entire country you live in. Breathe in this divine love, and now this time as you exhale, let this love encompass the entire globe, this beautiful planet Earth, our home, our only home, the only place that harbors life as we know it. Let it be known to every creature, every continent, every ocean, that you are a part of it. You respect it. And you have great care, for your life depends on it. Now I want you to please bring your palms together at your heart center in prayer position. Take a deep bow of gratitude for everyone and everything that made this moment possible. And let's put our palms together and rub, creating some energy, some chi, some prana. And when you feel a nice warm birth of prana, I want you to cup both of your eyes, one with each palm, and bless yourself. I am love. Unconditional love. Complete and perfect exactly as I am. Nothing from out there, no one or no thing can complete me. Everything that I need, I have within me. And then let's take these palms and make them face outwards towards the world in front of you, sending out some healing energy. The signs of Reiki as this love emerges through your palms out into the world. I want you to focus your attention on any one person, a group, or a place that needs this healing energy. And let us send them light. Let us send them hope and calmness as an act of deep compassion. May their hurdles be removed. May their suffering end. And may they experience the love, the unconditional love that they are. Right here, right now. Bringing our palms back together at our heart chakra. Notice how you feel right now at this moment. And if you could summarize how you're feeling right now in one word, what would that be? I invite you to please share that one word in this chat window. Grateful, light, peaceful, present, more peaceful, blessed, cloud, so appropriate that your name is River, connected, peace, yes, calm, fantastic folks. So let these comments keep coming, and I also want you to please go ahead and share anything else that came up during this conversation that we've been having for the last hour. And I also want to thank you for your donations. I want you to know that your sharing of energy helps me to be able to continue to extend my energy out into the world and keep offering these courses, these recordings, these videos, everything that I've been creating, and I continue to create with the support of beautiful souls like you. I'm feeling loved, I'm feeling blissful, I'm feeling better, radiant. Wow, beautiful folks. Thank you so much for sharing. So While you're typing up any questions, comments, anything else that you want to share, I just want to say that I have a retreat coming up in the Bay Area. I know that many of you are in different parts of the world. I'm going to be hosting my first in-person retreat, just local, keeping it simple. It's going to be happening July 4th weekend in Marin County. All of the information is on my website, and you can find a link to that in my profile. I also want you to know that you can sign up for one-on-one coaching. I do professional coaching, I do life coaching, and also somatic exercises just for stress reduction. And also I take in your suggestions for future topics. I have Sieglinde, one of the attendees today, she's one of the regulars, and she suggested this topic. Sieglinde, I hope it was useful. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions and concerns and how you brought this topic up. Yoko's saying energy flows like water. Sounds fantastic. Felt the energy is running through me. Yoko, indeed. Blessings, says Michelle. Blessings to all of you. Blessings to all of you. So we are all connected. We are all in it together. As we extend, as has been spoken today, as I put out, I become a receptacle. I become a receiver. This is the constant thing, right? I use this analogy many a time. Some of you heard my previous classes. Growing up in India, I had a motorcycle. I had a vehicle where many times, there would be occasions where, you kind of as a kid, somebody, who's not very careful and planning, you run the gas to its lower limit. When it hits the E, you say, oh, you know what? I can go another 10 kilometers. I can go another 5 kilometers. Oh, I'm going to get to the next gas station. And sometimes you push it way too far and you get stuck. I got stuck many a times. And then what we would do is I would try to catch a ride to a nearest gas station, catch a ride, what have you, and go there, fill up with a jerry can gas, and you come to your vehicle, come to my motorcycle, and then I'm trying to fill the gas into the thing, and sometimes the gas tank is in a very awkward position, and I have to use this tube called a siphoning tube. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with it. Okay, now some of us who rode motorcycles and played with these kind of toys, we had this experience. So what you have to do is you have to put a tube into the tank, right, which from where the source of that gasoline is, or whatever that liquid you're trying to move to the other tank, and you have to use suction through your mouth to suck the liquid just till it comes to the very edge of the tube, and then just when it hits the edge of the tube, you use your finger to stop that pressure from going back, and you drop it into the tank, and then you see the complete flow. The tank empties out from that source into the destination. Think of it like that is what we're doing right here. As we're sending out these blessings of compassion, as we're sharing our energy in whatever form, what we're doing is we're opening up our chakras, we're opening up our channels, we're opening up ourselves to receive, right? Just this is the nature, folks, as I shared with you in my breathwork exercise. When you know how to give, the universe will show for you to get. You don't need to worry about it. It's just a natural function of the law of the universe. Okay, our job is to, how can we add value when something is given to me? There's a gift that's given to me, right? These stories that I hear, this wisdom that I take, this knowledge that we inherit, this love that I've experienced in this community. How can I add my own signature? How can I make it customized and share it with the world, right? That's our job. That's when you're going to sleep best. That's when you're going to be most healthy, most happy. That's when you're going to really thrive. So folks, go out there, shine your light, go show your unique signature on how you're going to go and spread your radiance, spread your love. Be the light that you are for somebody who's experiencing a dark cloud hanging over them right now. All right. So like I said, please go ahead and share your topic of what you want me to talk about next Wednesday. And so let's see. Thank you. I'm feeling very warm, relaxed, and elevated. Beautiful, India. I don't know if that's your name or you're joining from India. Either way, we love you. Robert, I love the analogy. Love grows when you give. Indeed. Love is for taking and giving. Love is for sharing, not for receiving and keeping only, right? Otherwise we go stale. So India is my name and you're from Boston. We love you, India. All right, my friends, until I see you all same time, same place. So I do this thing Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I do one at 9 a.m. Pacific on Sunday mornings. I know that some of you just like my friend here is joining from Israel. And I don't know what time you said, my friend from Israel. I don't know what time it is. I'm sorry, I got into my talk and my meditation and breath work. I closed my eyes and I don't know what you said, but I know it's a very awkward hour. So those times at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Pacific on Sunday mornings, I know will be a much more earthly hour for you folks. So I invite you to join me there until I see you all either on the Friday night, or Wednesday night, or the Sunday morning. I hope that you're happy. I hope you go shine your light. I hope that you're healthy, and be well.